What up, Thrashers? You saw the video, you know what you're in for, but in case you're blind or stupid or you let your YouTube videos autoplay like some dweeb, I made up a little edit for you to clue you in on exactly what song we have going on today.
Next song, it ain't about no goldfish. And it ain't about no tuna fish. And it ain't about no trout.
Do you like that one? Yeah, it was really stupid. It was really low effort, but that's the bar that we're at right now. That's the bar of quality for any of the stuff I do. It's like just slightly above old person editing because I don't feel like putting in effort or hiring somebody. So you're stuck with that. All right, enough deliberating. Main riff is all rhythm guitar, no leads. The day will come, but for now, just rhythm. Here's what you're working with. You got a 3rd fret, 4th fret, and 1st fret power chord. And then you have these two notes here on the A string on 4 and 5. That's what most people think only encompasses this riff, but most people are wrong. I'll give you a secret little tip that Gary gave people on one of his lesson videos. All right, so everybody probably does it the right way when they have the opening bit, with that opening bit right there. So you have gallops, and then 2 downstrokes at the end. So downstroke and then gallops to move it, and then 2 more downstrokes. And then I like to do a hammer-on, and I like to have this power chord shape so these fingers are already ready to do that. I'm normally a pinky power chord guy, and I use like my middle finger to get more pressure on my pointer finger. It's weird, but for this type of riff, you need to be able to do it this way if you want to do it consistently. Right? So you do that 3 times, and you have the ending bit that repeats it. Now I'm going to show you the way that everybody does it wrong. You might be thinking to yourself, oh God, I do it that way. Well, you're wrong and you're an idiot, and I'm going to show you how to do it right. You go, and then you have opens. That's the way that Gary said to do it in his Lessons in Guitar Violence video he did at the end. So that's the #1 mistake I see a lot of people getting it wrong. Not everybody, it's people have gotten better. This knowledge has spread, but hopefully I'm another drop in the bucket of people doing it right and showing you how to do it right. So that's the main riff. And it repeats that a lot. And then you have the ending bit where it just does this over and over again. And then this next riff, which again, a lot of people are doing wrong and a lot of people are confused about. I'm going to go over a couple different ways people do it. But here's the way. I'm pretty sure Rick does this riff, and then Gary is behind him doing those little accents. So here's the way you're supposed to be doing this verse riff. Right? So that's where everybody gets tripped up. So some people think it's just where you're just hitting these fourths here, and that's it. And some people get sort of right where they think it's a hammer-on from those fourths to those fourths. And they're sort of right. But the true way is you're going from hammer-ons on these fourths, on the A and D, and then you have a pull-off from this fourth to this fourth here. That's how I think Lee Altus does it. Lee doesn't even really do a full power pull-off with the fourths. He actually just does 1 note. Right? So it's kind of going from like a 3rd, like a fucking Megadeth song or something, the fucking whatever that song is. But that's how Lee Altus does it. But Rick, he does what I would probably want to do more than I normally do now. I do it like this, but I should start doing it where a pinky slide. That's really going to mess up the bottom flesh of your pinky here. If you're like a fingertip player, like everybody's told to do, and which you should do, if you don't have a slight bit of callus on the actual meat of the pinky, that's going to suck. and that little motif is going down like this. Or you can do it, again, you're thinking Phrygian dominant for this, so whichever fingerings you like to do for that little motif. I think it's easiest to do it like that, with the A string, then do the E. So that's another big misconception, thankfully put to rest. And then you have the next riff part. What is it? Oh, right, no, there's a harmony for these little motif bits. It's a, what is it? I think it's minor third parallel harmony. What is it? No, it's fifths. Yeah, it's fifths. So, while I think Rick is doing the lower one, Gary is doing that on top of it. And whenever later on in the song they get to this part, which I'm just going to spoil a little bit, you need to just do that next up in line. And then go to a different spot for Gary's. I'll show you that later, but I'm just letting you know there is a harmony here if you listen in close for it. Anyways, so there's that riff for the verse riff, and then you have the chorus with that little harmony bit. But I think they don't harmonize it until the next verse, and it's pretty simple. You do the motif, but then the second time they do it, you're going to this power chord now on the A string on 3 instead of E string on 1. That's another mistake, the one that I did for a little while before listening in closer. And it might even be that it's not open like that. It might be 1 like that. Not 1,000,000,000% sure on that. But A and B it yourself and you'll figure out which one you like more. And that's pretty simple. And then after doing that enough, they go back into the verse riff. Another verse. And then they do it again. And then they do, again, that harmony thing that I told you about earlier. I'm going to show you exactly how that goes. So Rick's is this. So it is 3, 2, 4. And now minor shape thing in here, like that. And then now, what is it? 6 and 5 on the D. So that's one of them. My cat's down here trying to get my attention. And then I think Gary's is a... That's an interesting choice. So it's the same thing, sort of. Right here, you should be able to see with your eyes and listen with your ears. Right, and you have the same minor thing happening, I'm pretty sure. And then now you go to these notes here. Interesting choice, interesting choice. Because Rick is doing... So it's kind of doing 6 almost. It's still thirds, I mean. It's that cool Egyptian-y style parallel thirds thing. Alright, then after that, it's the solos. So Gary does a solo. Again, I'll break it down another day when I have a guitar strung up that has a Floyd. But for now, I'm just going to give you the behind-the-scenes riffs behind both the solos. Now, for Gary's, it's just the same as the opening riff. That's fine, that's easy. But for Rick's solo, it's a totally different riff. And it has weird timing jumps. You have to really be on top of your game for this one. It's a little tricky. So let me play it for you really quick to refresh my memory and give you an insight on exactly what it would sound like without all the other stuff. That's roughly what I think it is. I think it could be, instead of this starting it, could be an open low E. Either way, it's an E power chord of some sort. So this riff goes as follows. That's the beginning of it. Now, you have to jump the gun this next bit to fit in these 3 power chords here. 3, 5, 7. So you have to kind of come in early. Listen to when I come in for the... Listen to how many chugs I have between that. Right? And you would think you would come in at the same time after another amount of sixteenths. But that's wrong. You actually come in a little earlier than you think to accommodate for the banana. Okay? So listen close. And then you have these power chords here. D string, and then back to the A. Pretty cool riff. They do that enough times, and then they close it off with the... Now that riff isn't too hard to figure out. It's pretty simple. You have power chords in the A string, 2 and 1. Now you shorten the time you do them. And then you just hit 1 and do a bunch of low E chugs. And then you do 2 on the A, and you're chugging on that. You would think that's all for this riff. Right, you think that's it. But no. After these first 2, these next ones, I'm pretty sure one guitar player, I can't tell who, is doing the power chords again. Like it's normal. But another one is doing major thirds. And that's really evil, that's really spooky. So you're gonna wanna have 2 and 1 frets on the A and D. And then back again. It could be another third where it's 1 and open, or it could be, I don't think it's 2 opens. It's definitely major thirds all the way through. So you have that. And then they go and they do this weird kind of slow lurching. And then another harmonized motif. And then they repeat the riff again until song ends like that. Pretty easy, simple, easy peasy. I hope none of that was confusing. I hope I was able to show it to you in an efficient yet quick way. Cat's scratching my table, because that's what cats do. Hate that thing sometimes. I love her though. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm pretty sure that's all the riffs in the song. I hope I've dispelled any of the inaccuracies that some people give out. Rewind the video to certain sections if you're having trouble. There's no shame in that. Everybody's got to start somewhere. So listen to metal, play metal, be metal, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take a pic. Peace.